Well, good morning, folks. Pastor Rocky Branch, Spruce Pine First Baptist Church, middle of the morning or close to it anyway. Today is day 101, and we're going to have breakfast here a few hours at 8 o'clock. Going to have the crew coming in, feeding a bunch of folks, getting the job done. What a blessing. What a great blessing. What a wonderful opportunity that we have. My, how blessed we have been, how blessed we are, and we're so very grateful. Man, God has been so good. I'm just telling you, we've just been so good. You know, I went the other day, Miss Janice and myself, last Tuesday to the dermatologist. You know, they got that spray can. And I'm light complected, you know, and boy, they burnt me up, I'm telling you. And, you know, it's interesting about those freeze things. They say freeze, but it feels like fire. I don't understand that part of it. But freeze, and those guys that get a hold of that, boy, they're happy to have it, I'm telling you, because they just keep on pouring it in there. And then when you get through that pain, you have to then, you know, keep Vaseline or something on them, whatever. They gotta, you know, get a scab on them and whatever. And then if they don't heal well, then you've got to get something done. I had that thing on my nose. Some of you might remember. Well, it was before the flood, but if you've been watching these videos for a long time, you've seen that situation I was in. And they had to cut on my nose and all that good stuff or bad stuff, whatever. But anyway, my point is sometimes you have to face difficult things to make things work better. That's a challenge for us because most of us that have a choice, we would rather go an easier route, not a wrong route, but just an easier route than having to go through some of the stuff that we have to go through to accomplish the goal that God has for us. Well, with that being said, I want to jump to us today. Galatians chapter 6, verse 1. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, you which are spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. So, Paul says that if you have a friend, a brother, now he's not talking about a blood brothers as you like to have brothers and sisters from your mom and dad, offspring, but he's talking about born again. Because when you get born again, you are a brother or sister in the faith. No, not biologically, but spiritually speaking. That word brethren is one of my favorite words in the New Testament. It's the word autophos, and it means from the womb, which means you've been born again. Well, Billy Graham would say it this way, born from above. And so now, if you're saved, you're a lady, you're my sister, I'm your brother. If you're a man, I'm your brother and you're my brother if we're saved. And that's what it means. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault. If a person, a friend, someone you're aware of is overtaken in a fault, some maybe deed they did or got trapped into or whatever the case may be, you which are spiritual, restore that person. Now, that kind of gets a little bit hard to do because of the challenges that we face, the situations that we have, what we deal with in life, because often what happens to us is that we still remember. Oh my goodness. If you get a chance, watch the message from yesterday. We had another man come with his hand up saying he wanted to be saved. We had one last week and had one yesterday. And watch that sermon if you can. A lot of people go to the sermon, and it's not that they don't like the music, but they'll just run past the music and get to the preaching part because they want to hear that, and I'm grateful for that. But if you get a chance, watch that message because it was the first message of 2025. The title of it was Stepping Forward. And in the process of that message, I believe it will help us understand what restoration is about and what God intends us to be about if we belong to Him, and the way that we're supposed to treat each other. Very important, I think, very valuable to our situation and circumstances that we operate under. And so when Paul says, brethren, same from the womb, spiritually speaking, born from above. If a person, lady or man, finds themselves in trouble, a fault, you which are spiritual, restore that person. Bring them back to their original position, or even better if you can. About, I don't know, several years ago now, Miss Janice, we had the ladies boot camp that I teach in the church, and Miss Janice was in the class, and she jumped off of a rail that we had, that everybody was jumping off of it. She just has brittle bones. She has osteoporosis, and then she doesn't drink milk, and she hadn't drank milk her whole life, and so her bones, I guess, are a little bit more fragile than others, and she broke her leg in 3 places. There's only 3 bones in your leg, and in the lower part of her leg, between her knee and her foot, her leg broke completely in 2. Completely. Her leg was up like this, and the middle part was hanging down. I mean, the whole leg is like this, and it broke completely in 2. I grabbed it and held it for almost an hour waiting for the EMS to get there. And I'm telling you, when they came, I got loud and told them exactly what they need to do by getting where I was. And one guy come up and said, well, let me have the leg. I said, you're not touching her at all until you put a brace on her leg, because I held that leg together. It was broke completely. Well, the doctors had to put pins in it and rods in it and take rods and beat into the bone and fix her leg, and they said it would be stronger than it was originally. That's restore. But now in her mind, she still knows that she had a serious break, and she's very cautious, even though she's been told, your leg is stronger than the other leg. It's stronger than it was before you broke it. But there's something in the mind that prevents us often from understanding what exactly can take place with restoration. And it says there, if a person falls by the wayside, you which are spiritual, restore that person in the spirit of meekness, considering it could be you. So if you would, and I would, and we would together look to people and help them the way we would like to be helped, if we were in that situation, it would be a different approach often than the way that we approach it. Now, obviously, there's people that you cannot help. They don't want you to help them. You try and you try and you try, and it just does no good. But our efforts of trying faithfully, God is concerned about, because we are king's kids, and we're supposed to produce king stuff. We're supposed to do what God would have us to do. So we're to restore, and we're to bring that into the relationship as we try to help our brother or our sister that's fallen by the wayside. So times that we're in right now, we run into a lot of people, and they have some trouble and some challenges, and we need to be understanding as much as possible, help as much as we can, benefit them as much as possible, feed, clothe, and help any way that we can, because it could be us. Now, we have to use wisdom and understanding, quite obviously. There's people that take advantage of you, of course, but we also need to understand that it could be us, and we need to help them as if we needed help. But to be careful, Matthew 10:16 says, be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove. And if you do that, God will bless you for it. God bless you. We'll talk to you later. Bye.